trick was. If not, we'll go over it. Hi, jamplay.com. My name is Mark Kroos. I'm coming to you live today from Florida, of all places. And it's time for a quarantine concert. This is a double neck guitar. It's designed where you're supposed to play one neck and then switch to the other. Tonight I'm going to do my best to play them both at the same time. Nice polite thump at the end. Usually in concert I try to make it real loud, but try to not blow out your home speakers there or anything. Just a second, folks. I want to make sure that I'm coming through my amp just fine. I'd like a little bit more. Oh yeah, we're good there. We're good. I just wanted a little bit more in the monitors, basically, is all. So I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope what an interesting time we are in, you know, it really, really is. Jason said just a bit more vocal if possible. Jason, if I just get closer to the mic, does that work for you? Is that okay? Folks, can we hear it from Mr. Jason Mounts at home there in, where are you guys, Fort Collins, Colorado? Is that where Jam Play is? I haven't been out there in a while, but Jason, I haven't seen Jason in a very, very long time. I have a lesson series with Jam Play, and they're just such a wonderful, wonderful site. We filmed the lesson series in 2011 and 2012, and I worked heavily with both Jason Mounts and Jeff Booth, and Loveland, awesome, and they're just great guys. So it's really cool to work with them again. I'm gonna play "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot." Thank you, folks. Thank you very much. I don't know if you enjoyed it or if you're clapping or anything like that. It's always kind of a funny thing about live feeds is getting to play for people again is awesome, but I can't hear or see you or anything like that. So I hope you're enjoying it though. That was Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and I guess since I'm getting to play for all guitar players today, that's kind of a unique situation for me. I do a lot of concerts in churches, and so it's usually only about 5 to 10% guitar players. A lot of the time it's just normal people, and so when you're talking to just normal people, you can't geek out about guitar too much. You'll lose folks really, really fast if you just talk about guitar. But for the next hour or so, we can just talk about guitar, which is pretty fun. So I mentioned this is a double neck guitar. It is by Ovation, as I'm sure a lot of you guessed. You can see it's got the epaulettes, and this used to be a 12-string neck here, and I've turned it into 6. And it's not a custom guitar. It's your standard 12-string on top, 6-string on the bottom, just the way a double neck guitar is meant to be strung up. But I've got them strung up as 6 and 6. I really haven't done a lot of alterations to it. If you look around back, I don't know if I can really show you very well. There are 2 other inputs down here. Yeah, not going to do that. That's really, really awkward, actually. But I did put 2 extra inputs in it so that I can split the signals. And when I'm recording, I don't need to just have a mono signal go into the preamp. I can send one neck to one channel and one neck to the other. So if I really want to, I can put one neck in one ear, one neck in the other. And that's pretty cool. It brings out all of my mistakes in recording like crazy. But yeah, as far as the techniques go, and like I mentioned, I've got a whole Jam Play series on this that we filmed, I guess 8 years ago now. But it's all hammer-ons and pull-offs. So if you're not familiar with hammer-ons and pull-offs, the idea is being able to get a note just by pressing down with the left hand. So when I press down on that note, that's a hammer-on. When I take my finger off the strings, it's called a pull-off. So you have hammer-ons and pull-offs. In between the 2 techniques, you can get entire melodies with just the left hand. Now you can bring the same idea over to the right hand. And I think that a lot of the time, as guitar players, we think of... Sorry, I got to tune a little bit there. We think of hammer-ons and pull-offs as like a note into another note. You know, we hit a note and then we hammer on. But you can really strike the energy into the string just from a dead stop, just from right there. And I do keep very, very low action on my double neck, but probably no lower than most electric guitar action. Well, maybe a little bit. I keep pretty low action. But I'm going to give this one a shot. I think I'm warmed up enough to do it. We're going to try Superstition by Stevie Wonder. It's a pretty new one, so if I lose the groove, I'll have to ask you to forgive me. Oh, by the way, I don't think I covered this. I said all guitar players would know what I meant when I do that. I'm getting the grease from my nose on my fingers so they slide better on the strings. That's what that's about. So it's the if you learn one thing from this concert, let it be nose grease. It's so important for guitar playing. Anyway, Superstition. slow fade out. Oh, well, thank you, folks. Sorry I messed up that 30-second note run there. So I don't use 30-second notes very often. Most people don't use 30-second notes very often. That is many, many notes. So in that song, if we're going on, I was probably playing it a little under tempo. I usually play it around 95. Stevie Wonder plays it around 100. So do 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 2, 3, 4. These are your quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are your eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 16th notes are. And so that riff, that 30-second note riff, it was when didn't play it all that well that time either, but it's a new tune, so you'll have to forgive me a little bit, but that's one where it's really, really important to keep the groove. And so I've been a little bit bashful about playing that tune, or a little shy about playing it live, because I still feel like I have a little ways to go within as far as locking into that groove. That's the most important part of that song. So, gosh, I wasn't thinking about what song to play next. Let's do, I'm going to do one more. Oh, Jason just asked me if I'm ready for some questions. I don't know. Do they have questions, Jason? Do they? I haven't had the feed up on my computer because I don't want it to slow down my computer. I don't know if there are 2 questions. Go ahead and shoot, Jason. And other people are welcome to ask questions. I told Jason at the beginning of this that I'd play for about 20 minutes. And I guess talk probably more than you even want to hear. But I said I'd play for about 20 minutes and then take some questions. And then play for another 20 minutes and then take some questions. And we'll just keep doing that for a while. So this first question is, what tuning are my guitars in? And so, great question. I don't use standard tuning very much on this instrument. Standard tuning is amazing. I love standard tuning. I play in standard tuning on my own time all the time. I very, very rarely play in standard tuning on stage, though. What I love improvising. I do what I call my groove work every day. I play along with recordings, and it's really, really just good for your musicianship, playing along with recordings, improvising. I use standard tuning for all that stuff, often on electric guitar. But then on this guitar, I'm primarily using something close to DAD-GAD tuning, which is D-A-D, D-A-D, G-A-D. And I'm sorry, this neck is not in DAD-GAD tuning. I just changed it. But this one is D-A-D, G-A-D. It sounds like that. And it's a great tuning. It's really, really awesome. One nice thing about DAD-GAD tuning that a lot of people like is that it's not major or minor. D-A-D, G-A-D. If you take that and you play in the key of D, every note is either the 1 or the 5 of your scale or key. So D and A and D, and then A here for the second string, and then another D. So, and then the other string that we haven't accounted for is a G, and that's the 4 of the scale. And if you think about your music theory, the major and minor scale both have, of course, the root note is the same for a D major or minor scale. It's D. The 5 is the same, which is A, between major and minor. You don't change the 5. And the 4 is the same, so you don't change the 4 between major and minor. So you can get some nice major chords with suspensions and everything. You can also play in minor keys. So I think of, I can't play it anymore, it's been so long, but the Michael Hedges tune Ragamuffin. That's almost it. That's how it starts, but you can hear that's very much a minor sound. And that's in dadgad tuning as well. I do primarily use it for major things. It gives you a lot of just really nice suspensions. I love the sound of the 1 and the 5 over every single chord. I'll go ahead and play you like every chord of the key. Here's your 1 chord. This is your 1 chord with a 3rd in the bass. This is your 4 chord. This is your 5 chord. This is your 6 chord. This is your 2 chord. This is your 2 chord if you turn it into a major chord. That's kind of cool. Gives a little bit of crunch there. But that's what I'm doing is I have the 1 and the 5 of the scale, those 2 scale degrees over every chord. And hopefully that made sense to some people. I'm sure if it sounded like Greek to some, I'm sorry about that. But dadgad tuning is really, really fun, and I hope you'll go and explore that. The next question, and we could go on and on about the tunings because it's either dadgad tuning or open D tuning. That's one that I like a lot too. It's almost the same as dadgad tuning, but the G is an F sharp, and that's what I have this neck in right now. And that's what I'll use for canon in D, is this neck will be an open D, this one will be in dadgad. So that's almost the same thing, just the G comes down to an F sharp, so you're in just a straight up D major chord. Next question. Okay. So this is a really good question. It's what exercises did you practice to be able to play both necks? That really is a good question. I get asked it a lot. And so I've been playing the guitar for 20 years. And I don't really like exercises. Like, I don't really like finger exercises. I don't have a pick on me, but like the really common finger exercise that people do is like going... just kind of those chromatic type exercises to really build finger endurance and everything. I don't really like them that much, and I don't really like practicing scales either. I don't really do either of those things very much. However, I have, and I've benefited from them. So, like, the way I feel about it, it doesn't really matter. It's a skewed, way of looking at it, because I've done it so much that I've seen the benefits from it. I don't really do it a lot anymore. As far as playing the 2 different necks at the same time, it's taken me so much time to do it that what I'll do is I write a song and I learn to play it. And that's my exercise. I write or arrange a song and I learned to play it. I wrote I'll actually just kind of show you what I'm talking about, where I wanted to come up with a new tune, preferably something that I could collaborate on with another guitar player. And what I'll usually do, and I know the question was about the exercises, but really the exercise comes into the actual practice. And this is what I've done to practice. If you've been playing guitar for a while, you can probably play several things with just one hand. You can probably play Thunderstruck by AC/DC with one hand. It's probably easier for you to play it with one hand than it is to pick the whole thing, and again, I don't have a pick. I won't even try it, but if you've been playing guitar for a few years, you can probably play that with one hand. You could probably do a lot of things with one hand, like these kinds of things I'm doing here. This isn't anything too complicated, but what makes it difficult is when I add the other hand and have a different part and figuring out how those line up and practicing it very slowly. And that's what it comes down to, is you get 2 parts together and then you practice them really, really slowly. It doesn't take a lot of time to get down one part. For example, this is the tune I was writing the other day, and it goes like this with the left hand. So that's our bass line that we're doing with the left hand. And then the right hand, I want to do this. It's not too complicated of a part. It goes... Now, in order to do that, I'll show you what it sounds like together real quick. So we start off. that's the final product, sort of. I still got a little ways to go, but I've only been playing it a few days. So what it came down to though is figuring out, okay, when I play this note, which is actually just a pull off of the lowest string, I go with the right hand. Those go together. And then when I hit this note, when I hit that first one of those, that's my pull off with the right hand into that. You see what I'm talking? Like that. And then it's immediately a pull off with the left hand. I know it seems tedious. It really does. It is. I've been doing the double neck thing for about 10 years. It's a lot less tedious for me now, and I'm able to do more complicated things than I was able to when I first started. But yeah, it's a fair bit of a bear figuring out how the parts line up. Guitar Pro is a really, really good tool if you can't, there have definitely been times where I've written two parts that are really difficult to line up with one another in my head. So I've got to write them out. And so I'll use Guitar Pro and put two different stabs and be like, okay, this is when this note lines up with this note lines up with this note, and let's do it really slowly. Also practice with a metronome. Lately, I promise this isn't lame product placement, but you've probably been seeing those ads for the Soundbrenner, but it's the metronome watch. It vibrates, and I've been using this in my practice, and it's kind of nice to not have an audible click. It just lights up. And it's by vibration, and it's pretty cool. It's worked really, really well. But anyway, gosh, I'll just go on a tangent with a question. My wife's over there looking at me like, oh my gosh. So, anyway, everybody, if you would, say hi to my wife, Nora, in the feed. But Nora, if you don't mind seeing if you can find a way to comment as my artist page and everything, and just say, hey, everybody, just so they see where I am on Facebook and stuff. I guess that counts as shameless self-promotion or something. But let me see what these others... all right, cool. Awesome. I'll play a little bit more. I wish I had a full piece to play with that, but it's only a part that I have there. So this is my rendition of Pachelbel's Canon in D, also known as the song that nobody wants to have played at their wedding anymore. And the first person I played this arrangement for was my younger sister, because she loves the song Pachelbel's Canon in D. People always say, Mark, don't be so hard on yourself. You're your own greatest critic. And I found that's not true. My younger sister is my own greatest critic. She hated it. She said, Mark, that sounds nothing like Pachelbel's Canon in D. She's right. I really just took the chords that you all know, the 1, 5, 6, 3, 4, 1, 4, 5 chord progression. I can say that because I'm talking to guitar players. 1, 5, 6, 3, 4, 1, 4, 5. And then I did whatever I wanted to do with the melody. But I think it's a lot of fun this way. Hopefully you'll like it better than she did. nasty notes in there. Thank you, folks. Thanks a lot. So we were talking about tunings, and I don't want to bore you too much with tunings or anything, but one thing about them is I think that a lot of times we have a tendency to like put our guitar in another tuning. Maybe not everybody, but sometimes I do put my guitar in another tuning, and then I try to like find stuff based on it and everything. But the real reason why you use alternate tunings is to change your shapes and get shapes that you want that are really going to work for you. And in the Jam Play series that I have on doing this kind of playing on a single guitar neck, we talk a little bit about, what kinds of benefits DAD-GAD tuning offers. And one thing I like about it, and that song, playing that arrangement, really reminded me of this. The way I usually try to sing, that just like in drop D, your lowest 3 strings or your lowest 2 strings are your power chords. So you have power chords that you can play with just your right hand, or with just your left hand, depending on whatever you want to do. So there are your power chords, and then you can have like a repeated figure. Like, what if we just go with the left hand, and then we're going to play power chords with the right hand. And in that song, in canon in D, what I did was I went. Now, I have the benefit of having another neck here to really keep my hands out of the way of each other, but we could do that on this neck. Like, if we go like that with the left hand. And doing a left hand repeated figure in 16th notes like that, or in triplets, whatever. But I think that's a really good way to start this style if you've never looked into it before and explored DAD-GAD tuning. It's really, really good for you like that, because you got those power chords there. You can just play them with one hand. It's pretty cool in that way. The other thing I was going to get into a little bit, so right now this neck is in DAD-GAD tuning. This neck is in open D. I'm going to capo here, okay? 3rd fret. So usually I play in D. Now I'm going to kind of play in F. So D, E flat, E natural, F. So now it's like an open F kind of tuning like that, but it's DAD-GAD, capoed at the 3rd fret. Now what I want to do is with my
Hi everybody, this is Jason. Looks like we just lost Mark's feed. We're trying to get him back right now. I'm going to put the event start deal up, and we'll try to get back to you right quick.
Check 1 2 1 2. Jason said he lost me. Is it happening? Are we live? Okay, we're good to go. Awesome, we're good. So anyway, I'm going to take these 3 notes. I want to play these 3 notes, but they're kind of crowded. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my A string here, and I'm going to bring it up to an A sharp or a B flat. Okay, and now I'm going to take my D, I'm going to bring it down to a C sharp, okay? I know it sounds weird. It seems like a strange thing to do. But it's going to take those 3 notes that I had like that, which were F, C, and then F, and it's going to make it so that I can play them like this. So here, I'm going to get a little closer. It's very, very comfortable. I could just do that all day, but it takes my pretty dag tuning and it makes it sound like this. Doesn't sound very good. So I'm going to take this bandana, and you've seen some guys like mute their open strings, and sometimes it's to like reduce finger noise, reduce string buzz, that kind of thing. I'm doing it so that we don't hear the open strings at all. That's like the main reason why I'm using the bandana, because those open strings didn't sound great, but this shape is really, really great for my playing. And if I did my job right, we should have Linus and Lucy from Charlie Brown. So now I only get hammer-ons. I don't get pull-offs anymore. Don't get any pull-offs. Thank you, folks. Thanks a lot. All right, so Jason, you said we've got a few more. You said we've got a few more questions. I'd be happy to take some more questions. Sorry, I tend to be real long-winded talking about guitar stuff. Like I said, I don't play for a lot of guitar players. Usually, guitar players are about 10% of my audience. I play in so many churches, and so I don't get to really geek out about guitar stuff. And so with you guys, I kind of feel like I get to do that. So that's kind of fun. But what you got there, Jason? Well, that's a lovely question. Where am I playing shows, and do I have a website or a YouTube channel? Nora, would you please comment on there as Mark Kroos, acoustic guitarist, so folks can see where to find me on Facebook. And then my YouTube channel is youtube.com/mskroos. That's Mark, and then my middle initial, which I won't tell you, MS Kroos, youtube.com/MS Kroos. As far as live shows go, I'm not booking any shows at the moment. We had a few, we may have some in East Tennessee in July. We'll see in Jonesboro, Tennessee, and Chattanooga. But we're not actively booking any shows. I believe this weekend was supposed to be the Tacoma Guitar and Drum Festival, which I was really, really excited about playing, but unfortunately, we've got a pandemic going. Tours take so long to book, and they take so much energy to put together that I won't. I love playing shows. I love playing live shows. They're my favorite thing to do. I love being on tour. My wife and I, it's both of our full-time jobs. So Nora comes on tour with me all the time, and we have a blast, and we love it. But it's so much work to put a tour together that we don't want to put anything together until we're absolutely certain it won't get canceled. So we don't have any shows that are definitely booked right now or anything like that. But hopefully in the fall we'll do some touring. Usually I play somewhere between 60 and 80 shows every year. Okay. My wife has a question for me. Oh, markkroos.com. What? Oh, yeah, go ahead and put yeah, I didn't say anything actually about the website. Nora's going to put the website on there too. It's markkroos.com. It's pretty easy as long as you know how to spell Kroos. It's spelled just like kangaroos, only without the anga. Can I sing? The question is, can I sing and play with both hands? So I did a cover by Coldplay several years ago, and I sing and I play it, and you can find it on YouTube. I don't think we took it down or anything. It's too much, in my opinion. Like for me doing it, I'd like to do it again sometime if I feel like I'm able to put everything into both singing and playing. When I strum a regular guitar and I sing energy into the singing, where neither one of those suffers, In fact, I feel like I sing better when I play a guitar than if I sing without a guitar, partly because I like having something in front of me, just in case somebody throws something at me or something. But with the double neck, I don't feel that I've been able to really nail the singing and the playing at the same time. But it would be pretty cool. Okay, this is an interesting question. The question is, canon in D is basically running the circle of fifths, isn't it? So that's interesting. The circle of fifths, if you're not familiar, it's the interval of a fifth is 5 notes in a scale. So if you're in the key of, let's say you're in the key of D, like in canon in D, the D major scale goes D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. So let's give each note a number instead. D is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is up to A. So if you go in the circle of fifths, if you go to the right in the circle, you go up a fifth. So D up to A. And then you go A up to E. Mark and music theory. I promise I know this stuff. A up to E is a fifth. Then E up to B is a fifth. B up to F sharp is a fifth. F sharp to whatever the next one is, C sharp is a fifth. So the question was, is canon in D just running the circle of fifths? Let's find out. D, and I know it looks like I'm going down, but it's really all cyclical, remember? So like D to A is a fifth, or D to A is a fifth, so we're good there. Here we go to B minor, so that's not technically running the circle of fifths, but right after that we go to F sharp. So that is a fifth. B to F sharp, even though we're going down a fourth, same thing as up a fifth. Then G to D. Yeah, so it's a lot of circle of fifths kind of stuff. That's a great question. How many years have I been playing the double neck? I've been playing the double neck since 2009. I got it in March of 2009, and it's really been a journey. I'm not the only guy doing this. Another one that comes to mind is Ethan Case, who is a really, really fantastic guitarist. Playing both necks of the double neck guitar at the same time. But so we're not the only guys doing it. Luca over in Italy is fantastic as well. But there's no real tutorial on how to do it. We all just kind of do it and teach ourselves, and we learn it ourselves, and we all do it very, very differently. And that's why it's so cool to see what like Ian and Luca are able to do with their double neck guitars or triple neck guitars, and it's awesome. But so as far as like learning it goes, I did have a lot of music experience going in. I had already I'd gone to music school. I had the opportunity to go to music school when I was 18. Didn't do particularly well in music school, but I learned all my theory and everything. I learned my theory. I learned composition. I learned really good practice techniques. That's a big one. I learned, having taken classical guitar, no good at classical guitar, but I learned my practice techniques from that, and it's been very, very helpful to transition to this. Let's go ahead and play some more tunes. And I guess I'll kind of play out and everything. That time just flew by. Sorry I rambled on in some of those questions, Jason. It happens. I just get so excited about guitar playing. But as I'm tuning up, I'll ask you, if you don't mind, do check out my music on Spotify, Apple Music, all those places that you listen to music and everything. And if you don't mind, with all of us guitar players, it helps when you add us to playlists on Spotify or you heart our music. That's really, really helpful. And it's free, if you're already paying for a Spotify subscription, it's free to be able to do that. And so please, that's a way you can help us out, is add us to playlist, heart our songs. But I've got a few albums up there. I think one of my favorites is my album Clarity, which is actually all single neck, and it's a slow, relaxing, pretty album. But check that stuff out if you don't mind. Find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all those places. You could probably dig up on MySpace if you really wanted to. Let's see what songs I haven't played yet. I haven't done. Ooh, I'd like to do that one. Oh, I'm doing this one though. This is the title track off of my new album, Lose the Shoes. Open D on this neck, Dagat on this neck. Oh, I forgot to give the cool little Prince chords in the intro. At least I think they're cool. I'm probably biased. Thanks a lot, folks. Thanks for listening. Thank you. I'll probably do one more song, and while I get tuned up for that, I just want to thank jamplay.com a whole bunch. And just say that it's super fantastic to work with them again. We haven't really kept in a whole lot of touch in the past 8 years or so since I filmed those videos, and I just remember we had so much fun. I had so much fun working with Jeff and working with Jason. So when they asked me to do this live stream, I got very, very excited. It was awesome, and it's just really, really cool to work with you guys again. I want to also, I guess, mention I use Jamplay. Like I use those lessons. Always remember that no matter how long you've been playing guitar, there's always more to learn on the guitar. And lately, for me, I've been digging into the Andy Wood Country Shred series, and it's awesome. It's so cool. Andy is a phenomenal guitar player. He's so good, and his series is just amazing. I've always wanted to learn to country pick, to chicken pick, but I'm from Michigan where they don't allow music. I'm just kidding. Michigan is fine. But you know, we didn't really have country music growing up. I never really learned that stuff. And so learning to chicken pick a little bit is really, really cool. So I'd say check out that series. And I should be tuning this whole time. But we are also going to do a live lesson series during this quarantine time. It's this series that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm really excited to try it with Jamplay, and we're going to call it Riffs with Mark. And it's going to be about, I don't know, somewhere between 8 and 10 lessons, like you've been seeing on the Jamplay site. And we're just going to do live videos, and I'm going to provide tab and everything. And I'm just going to teach you riffs. That's what it's going to be. I'll teach you a riff, and then we'll take a look at where it lies in the scale and how you can use it in your improvisation, and just different ways to use it, maybe thinking outside of the box in a lot of ways. But it's going to be a series really just based on, here's a riff, what can you do with it? That kind of idea. And it'll be called Riffs with Mark if you want to look out for that. So I'm going to play Come Together, and then we'll do just, I think, another question or so, it sounds like. And this is also off my album, Lose the Shoes. miss those harmonics. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. It really, playing guitar for people is kind of my favorite thing to do. So getting to do that again for y'all, even though I can't see you or anything, getting to play guitar and share music for people is such a joy. So really, thanks for being there tonight. I am going to go ahead and bring the computer closer to me so I can see what Jason is saying. Don't fall. There we go. Being such a difficult technique, did you just say one day you were going to invest all your time into becoming a double neck player, or is it just something that's gradually evolved over years? That's a great question. There we go. So the question, I guess I'd kind of paraphrase it by saying, is the question like, did I decide to become a double neck guitar player? Like, is that what, or is it something that just kind of evolved over the years? It's come and it's gone in that regard. Like, I have for about the first 5 or 6 years of doing this, I basically abandoned standard tuning and not completely abandoning single neck guitars. But when I went to music school, when I was about 20, and I'm 34 now. When I went to music school, I didn't do well in music school. I was, I didn't have a very good feel for jazz, and that's what I was going to school for. I've gotten a little bit better at it since, but I sort of managed to ruin guitar for myself, unfortunately. It really became... I stopped having fun with it. I had stopped having fun with music, and I dropped out of music school. I stopped playing guitar for about 2 years. And then even when I got back into it, I couldn't really pick up a single neck guitar in standard tuning and really enjoy it. I would just kind of revert back to stuff I learned in music school, and it just felt like work to me. And so when I was able to pick up a guitar and put it in dadgad tuning, it was like it made it into a different instrument for me, which was really, really cool. It was like I was learning a new instrument in a lot of ways, and it made it fun again. And then I came back to standard tuning probably, I don't know, about 4 years ago or so, when I started to notice that I was really having some trouble with my groove and my timing. And it just... I really fell in love with the guitar again. Let's put it that way. I really, really fell. And when I say the guitar, I mean the guitar in standard tuning, the normal guitar. And I've done a lot of things with that on my own time. Now I haven't really released anything where I play in standard tuning, but it's an awesome instrument for me again. I absolutely love it. And so that idea of becoming a double neck guitarist, yes and no. There have been times in my life where it's been like, this is all I'm doing right now. And it required that. It really did require that for me with whatever, with the, you have certain guitarists that are like Prince, that are so incredibly talented, just incredible talent and everything. And I feel that I'm very, very thankful for any talent that I have, but I generally really have to practice things to be able to get them to a point where I can play them well. I've always really, really had to practice. And so to get for me to get this down or get it to a point where I was able to play it in front of people, I really had to focus all my energy on it for a while. But these days I play a lot in standard tuning as well. Oh, this is a good question as well. Would I agree that? Oh, I'm sorry. I just bumped this microphone. I'm sorry if that just ruined anybody's evening. But the question was, would I agree that what I'm doing is like what a harpist does? And not to, disagree with the question, partly, a little bit. Primarily, no, because a harpist isn't fretting. I basically have two things going on, and that is fret the note, and then pull off. So the plucking part or the picking part is kind of replaced by the pull off. That is kind of like picking the string, like whether it's with the right hand or the left hand. But there's also this aspect of it, which is the hammer-on. And so with everything that I'm doing, it's always thinking about if I'm doing a hammer-on, where is the next pull-off going? And I don't have a lot of control over it because it's whatever tuning I'm in. That's what it is. And if I've got an open string ringing, what's the next hammer-on going to be? Now, I make it sound like it's spontaneous. It's not spontaneous at all. It's very, very planned out. I don't improvise on this guitar. I don't improvise anything good on this guitar at all. It's all very, very planned out and practiced the way a classical guitarist would. All right. Well, that I guess is the last question. Jason, seriously, thank you so much for having me on here. And folks, thank you so much for listening. Nora, would you comment one more time as Mark Kroos, acoustic guitarist? If y'all wouldn't mind liking my page on Facebook and just go jam play. Jam play is just awesome. Please look out for my live lesson series that'll be coming up soon called Riffs with Mark, and we'll learn riffs and where to play them in the scale and for improvisation. Thanks so much, everybody. I'm Mark Kroos.